Today I want to talk about an extraordinary campaign that is being waged up in Seattle. It is the campaign of Matt Dubin. It is called There Is No Them. The URL is thereisnothem.us. And you can see that Matt is running for state representative as a Libertarian. He's running in the 36th district of my home state of Washington, which includes a lot of downtown Seattle, which means it is extremely progressive. In fact, it is one of the most democratic districts in the entire nation. It is 90% Democratic. The last cycle, it was 87% Democratic. Now it's 90% party line vote Democratic. People vote because of the letter after the name of the candidates. That's true everywhere. In Seattle, 90% of folks are looking for the D. Now, in this district, it's so overwhelmingly Democratic that the Republicans have given up putting a candidate up. But I'm pleased to say the Libertarians haven't. And Matt is, as I said, running as a Libertarian. So there were 3 races inside the 36th district, so with the exact same population, where you had an incumbent Democrat running against a Libertarian. And the claim I want to make, and this is an extraordinary claim, is that what Matt has already achieved at the point of the primary, that was 2 weeks ago, the primary, it was a top 2 general primary. What he achieved by August the 7th, that primary vote, was somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 the size of the political achievement of Donald Trump. That sounds like a ridiculous claim, doesn't it? Let me explain why I say it. Matt Dubin was able to get 2% of the voters of this district to break the habit of a lifetime, to break out of the Democrat party line vote. So in other words, whereas obviously the overwhelming majority of people were voted party line Democrat all the way down the ballot, 2% broke just for Matt, right? So they went D, 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 but when they got to Matt Dubin, they voted L. 2%. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it? It's huge. And let me tell you why. Now, perspective. Donald Trump is in the White House, having lost the popular vote. How many minds did Donald Trump change proportionally in America? Well, kind of 8%. And I'm not even concluding, by the way, I'm not including in that 8% the people whose mind he changed against the Republicans, right? I'm just looking at his upside. His upside was 8%. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the people who voted Democrat in 2012, voted for Obama, and then voted for Trump, 8% of them switched. Now, it's not that 8% of them actually went D to Trump, Obama to Trump. Some of them went D to Trump. Others did vote Obama and then didn't vote for either Clinton or Trump in 2016. And some of those who hadn't voted in 2012 voted for Trump, right? So you had kind of Obama to not voting and not voting to Trump. So that's a net swing, right? So if you add those swings, Obama to Trump and Obama to Trump via the no vote, right? If you add those, you net at an 8% swing from Democrat to Trump in 2016. Now, bearing in mind, to get that swing, Trump alienated loads of people and got loads of Republicans to not vote Republican, which is why he lost the popular vote. Well, one of the reasons he lost the popular vote. So you can see how completely difficult it is to get someone to break their party vote. Most people overwhelmingly vote for party. We know that, right? And when people change their party affiliation, it's usually not because of the candidate or the specific campaign. It's because of how that party brand is doing on the national scale. Yeah, so it's not usually about the individual candidate, especially at the lower races, but how people feel about the party and the policies that the party are being associated with in general at that time. Okay, so Trump was able to achieve this 8% upside, downside was just as much, but just looking at the upside, with all this money causing all this offense, with this massive earned media coverage, and credit to him for being able to do it. I mean, the guy has a kind of genius. He managed to get, as I say, that swing. Matt was able to swing just at the primary, right? So there's still a long way to go to the general. 2% of people that are hardcore Democrats with this message. Now, I'm not going to go into what the message was and how it works and who Matt is in this video. You can find all of that out by going to thereisnothem.us and having a look at the campaign, why it's compelling. The fact that he was able to get, Matt was able to get with this campaign, 2% of people to vote for him, despite the fact they're party line Democratic voters, that's a huge thing. It's hugely successful and it's hugely significant. Compare it to Trump's achievement. Now, obviously, Trump, to get his swing, he was running as a Republican across a whole country where you've got people who are very, some are hard Democrats, some are hard Republicans, some are soft Democrats, some are soft Republicans, and many, especially now, are swing voters who swung for Obama last time. Obama was very popular when he ran in 2012. But this time they didn't want to swing for Clinton. But they didn't have any allegiance to the Democratic Party per se. They're the mushy middle, if you like, electorally. So Trump got a bunch of those people. Matt running in downtown Seattle, there's no mushy middle. There's only Democrats. There are people who don't vote, but there's only Democrats, right? These are hard Democrats. This is a progressive culture top to bottom. Seattle is a city where we have a self-identified socialist on the city council. It's where we have, we have the $15 minimum wage, right? An attempt to get the head tax and other, really progressive things. Actually, in Seattle, there's been a significant move from last cycle when it was 87% Democrat to this cycle when it was 90. But 2% of those Democratic voters switched for Matt, and only for Matt, to Libertarian. And obviously Matt also picked up some other people that didn't vote Democrat elsewhere. They just came out for him. So Matt actually ended up with 13.5, roughly, I think, just over 13% of the vote, whereas the other non-Democrats in the district got about 10.5. That difference is purely down to him and the campaign. And again, we're only at the primary. That's a great achievement. Now, obviously, I'm drawing on the statistics here, but we have more information than that. On social media, you can see some of this, but also you can find out, from Matt, or indeed from me, because now it's time for full disclosure. I'm the communications director for the campaign. Folks who have been exposed to the campaign, who have actually seen the message, who have heard Matt speak, and he's great, or who've gone to the website and read the content there and seen the video of Matt. Those people who have been exposed to the message, the conversion rate is huge, right? We swung 2% of Democrats. We got another, 0.5% or whatever. That 2% represents a large fraction, a very large fraction of people that actually consume the message. Now, the job of this campaign going into the general is to get more people to consume the message. And obviously that's the work that we have to do. But this kind of conversion rate for a message to actually move people to, as I say, break with their party, often a lifetime party affiliation, very unusual. Now, I'm aware of some of the things we didn't do right going into the primary. We actually had a strategy to push this message out, not as a political campaign, and we're going to stick more with that, I think, for the next couple of months as we look to the general, rather than put the message out in the context of here's a candidate, here's a libertarian candidate. Why? Because in campaigning, cognitive dissonance is always working for you or it's working against you. And if you're running as a political brand with a political identity that nobody knows anything about or reacts negatively to, which, is a prevalent problem in a very strongly democratic district, right? Democrats generally, as I say, see libertarians as the worst kind of Republicans. In that case, you don't want people to not get the emotional hit from the message because they've put their wall up emotionally, psychologically, because they see you're a politician who's not from their tribe. We strategically knew we had to deal with that, and I think we didn't stick enough to the strategic straight and narrow, and we're going to be bearing that in mind going forward. But even with that said, this success, that 2+% swing of Democrats in a culture where there are no soft Democratic voters, there are none that wobble Republican. That's like there is across the country, right? There's no soft, non-progressive middle here. To do what Matt's done, I think is extraordinary. So that headline number of 13 point whatever it is percent that Matt picked up as a libertarian doesn't sound like a big number, but the delta, right, the impact that has been had on people who've received this message, it's amazing. So I urge people who are interested in the art of political persuasion to go to thereisnothem.us. Check out Matt and check out the messaging on that site. If you want to understand better why we've done it that way, again, Matt's the candidate. I'm helping him with communications. You can check out an article of mine. Go to robinkoerner.com. That's my website, and check out an article called How to Win Elections Out of Nowhere. Or actually, you can just do a YouTube search on a speech by the same title, How to Win Elections Out of Nowhere, where I talk a little bit about the underlying messaging principles of this campaign. Now, to succeed, we need to get more people to hear this message. The slogan is a hook. What we need to do is get people, when they get hooked, that there is no them, to go to the URL and to find out what it means. I think one of our failures up to the primary was that people loved the message, but they didn't actually realize that they could, as it were, well, they didn't get the detail of the message because we weren't sending them to the website. It wasn't clear enough that this is also a URL as well as a slogan or a logo. As a result of that, not enough people knew there was a guy, Matt Dubin, that they could vote for that stood behind this message that if they, found out more about it, they would have loved, just like the people who did find out about it clearly did love, because it got them to change how they thought about politics. So, an extraordinary achievement, and all the more so because it was a swing from D to L in one of the toughest districts in the country. It's a pure swing. It's a swing where there are no, as I say, there's no political low-hanging fruit. We're not pulling uncommitted people over to libertarianism. I'm talking about pulling hard Democrats who voted in the primary for Democrats. Those people we swung over. And one last point on this achievement. Trump won. One of the huge reasons Trump won was that Clinton was such a bad candidate. She went out and called half the population deplorables, which was awful. She had a lot of reasons why people didn't want her. So a lot of people who voted for Trump were really just voting against Clinton. That was not the case in Matt's campaign. Nobody was voting against his opponent, the incumbent Democrat Gail Tarleton, because she's awful or she hasn't achieved anything or she's alienated people. Not at all. Matt certainly wasn't making her out to be incompetent or anything like that. That was not what we were doing. It was a thoroughly positive campaign against, as far as the Democratic base, the overwhelming 90% Democratic base are concerned in Seattle, a good incumbent Democrat. So we had none of those wins, those headwinds, no, tailwinds that Trump had putting him in office. That makes this swing of more than 2% detail, hard swing, plus the extra 0.5% or whatever it was of people that didn't identify Democrat, but also came out from that. Makes that an extraordinary achievement. I think it's maybe actually one of the biggest political stories that nobody's ever heard of since Trump, to be honest. Yeah. So, you know, I want to say well done to Matt. Obviously, I'm proud to be a part of this campaign. If you like the idea of this, if you like the message, go to thereisnothem.us. We need your support. And I'm not going to explain why you should support us. I say go to the website, you'll find out. We want your support if you like our message, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or none of the above. This is about more than politics. It's about changing the way we do politics, which is obviously why the message has resonated so well. So I think Matt should be very proud of what he's achieved. I'm proud of what we've achieved. And I'm excited to, as I say, stay on the strategic straight and narrow and start to implement some of the ideas that we knew we would need to implement when we started the campaign, but haven't yet implemented. So, yeah, let's see what we can achieve at the general. All right, fantastic. Thereisnothem.us. Find out more about the Art of Political Persuasion at robinkoerner.com. That's Koerner.com. And I will talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot.